Hello everyone, and it's time for a recipe. Now, I had tried a recipe for vegan beef and broccoli. I can't remember the China Express, one of those popular restaurants. So a knockoff one that used soy curls, and it was really good. I might make the recipe for you guys. But one of the other recipes that popped up was orange chicken. And I thought, why have I never tried to like officially replicate an orange chicken since I've been vegan? So that's what I'm gonna do now. And for this you're gonna need extra firm tofu. You want the firmest one. You can freeze it and then thaw it to give it a kind of more chewy texture. But I have not frozen this one. I have one that's frozen in the freezer, but I want to make this right away. So I picked up a pack of tofu, and you're gonna break it apart into small pieces. Okay, so you're gonna just take your pack of tofu, and you can either cut pieces or just pull off small pieces. Yeah, like to me, that's good. Just little morsels, bite-sized pieces, perfect. Like this, to replicate, you know, what an orange chicken would be with just the small pieces of chicken. And now, of course, chicken itself doesn't really have a flavor, it's the coating, but I'm still going to add a little flavor to this with the brine, which you could leave overnight to soak, or I'm just gonna do this and then make my batter and cook it up now. I'll be back. Okay, so I've used, I'd say probably 2/3 of this. I might put a little bit more, but for now I'm going to start with this because I might take the rest of this and then soak this in my my flavor brine overnight. But for now I'm going to start with this, and I'll be back. Now, if you have vegetable stock, you can just pour like a cup of the vegetable stock right over the tofu. I don't have any. I have some mushroom stock, and I don't feel like I want to use that. So I'm gonna make mine here with 1 cup of water. I'm gonna put a tablespoon of vegan chicken stock, but I'm gonna put half a teaspoon of garlic powder in here as well. I'm gonna put a little bit of rosemary. So you know what, I'm gonna put like a 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary, and I'm gonna mix that up. And I'm going to pour it over this and like just let that sit for a little bit. I'm just gonna mix this all together. I'm gonna pour it over top. So the rest that I don't cook tonight, I'll let sit in that till tomorrow. And like you can really get your hand in here and like sort of squeeze, and hopefully as you're squeezing and it's you squeeze and it contracts and expands, hopefully it will be sucking in some of this flavor. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit while I get my batter together. Okay, so I'm going to make my batter with so far half a cup of flour. I can always save some. I'm gonna put a cup of flour in there. Okay, so I'm gonna put 3/4 cups of flour in here and a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. Now I have just egg. You can use, I mean, I've never actually used it, but you know, obviously when people make these recipes and use like a coating batter, they often put egg in there. It's never been necessary. I've done a million things without it. I'm kind of curious to try putting a little just egg in there just for the, I don't know, the heck of it. But for now, let me put a bit more. We're gonna go back with our flavors here. So I'm gonna put a bit more rosemary. I'm gonna do another 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary just to kind of give it that poultry flavor, but not too much. So we're putting a 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary here, and I'm gonna put a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic. I'm gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then you're gonna mix that together. And how much liquid do I want? Comes my question. Guys, I do this stuff on the fly, but I'm gonna adapt the orange part of it, well, essentially from a different recipe I found. But this part of it, of course, I'm doing on my own. But I'm using a recipe that calls for, I've seen you can use orange zest, you can use orange juice, so I picked up from some not from concentrate orange juice, and I'm gonna go with that. So, I think I'm gonna put about half a cup of water in here. Now you can always add, so this is half a cup of water right now. If you don't have enough water, you can always add more, add like a tablespoon at a time if you want. And I was thinking I'd probably need 3/4 cups, and I do need more, but I think I'm gonna add a little bit of just egg to this. So basically I'm gonna put 1/4 cup. For my own test, I wanna see, does it change anything about the frying, the texture, the taste. So let's do that. I'm gonna put another, I think I'm gonna put another 1/4 cup of water. So it's essentially gonna be a cup of liquid. I always forget because I do these on the fly, but it looks like it's about a cup of liquid to a cup of the flour mixture. Okay, so I've added another 1/4 cup of liquid. So now I feel like I probably added just a little bit too much water. I wondered if I might. It's not so bad though. I'm gonna give this a good mix. I'm gonna add another tablespoon of flour to this. Okay, so I did add 1 tablespoon of flour back to this, and I'm happy with the consistency. Okay, it's time to make our orange sauce, and I'm hoping that this turns out as I expect, because I think I'm gonna love it, my daughter's gonna love it, and it's gonna be something that I'm going to make often in the future. So let's get this part started. I have my tofu is still soaking, I have my dredge made, and now it's time to get the orange sauce together. Okay, so among the things it calls for, it does call for the zest of 1 orange. I think that will just like punch up the flavor. It also calls for ginger. Now I have ginger powder, and when I made the beef with broccoli, I used fresh ginger. I loved it a lot better, but my daughter felt the ginger was overpowering. But I am going to grate some ginger for this because I just like the flavor of fresh ginger. So you're gonna zest 1 orange. Okay, so I have zested 1 orange, at least mostly, and you know, you just have to work on getting as much of the orange zest out of your grater as you can, but as you can see, I have a good amount here on the plate, so I'm satisfied with that. Now I'm also going to grate a little bit of ginger. I'm gonna do like just kind of a centimeter portion of fresh ginger. Okay, so this is my orange zest, and this is a little bit of ginger, obviously mixed in with some orange. And now you're gonna take a cup of orange juice. As I said, I've picked up one that is not from concentrate, and it also has no pulp. I just figured that would be easier. You can, however, juice your own oranges. So if like you're gonna use oranges for the zest, you can always juice your oranges, whatever you like. Now, of course, if you've had orange chicken before, you know it's sweet. So it also calls for half a cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of vinegar or rice wine vinegar. I'm going to use the rice wine vinegar. It also calls for 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Okay, so you're gonna add to this your 1/4 teaspoon ginger, which this looks just about a 1/4 teaspoon. It also calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, but I don't know, that seems a little bit low to me, so I'm gonna put, I'm doing it. I'm going for half a teaspoon. I know I've got garlic in there and I've got garlic in that, but I love garlic. And with that amount of sugar, I'm just gonna put half a teaspoon of garlic powder in here, half a teaspoon of red chili flakes, and then you're gonna put the zest from 1 orange, and a tablespoon of cornstarch. So you're gonna mix all this together. I'm gonna let this sit for a bit, and then I'm going to start coating and cooking the tofu pieces. Okay, so I took the tofu and I just squeezed it dry out of the liquid. I've got my Heritage the Rock 1 pot here with oil to cover the bottom of the pan. It was at high, I've got it sort of medium high, and I'm just going to take my pieces of tofu and put them into my batter and then into the pan. Okay, so you're just going to cook them. I had it on a higher heat, but I've put it to a little bit of a, just kind of at medium. I don't want them to cook too fast. But yeah, you see it's starting to look nice right there. And this is a nice non-stick pan. I do love this Heritage The Rock pan. You're just going to cook them until they're, I guess, a golden brown. Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay, so when they are nice and golden brown, like on that side, you're just going to scoop them out, put them in a pan, on a plate, anywhere, and cook the rest that you have until they're all nice and golden brown. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take 2 cremini mushrooms, take whatever mushrooms you like if you want, and I'm just gonna slice them and put them right into the sauce. And I'm just gonna cook this. I feel like this is good. It gives me a good amount of sauce, but you know, it certainly could have a few more tofu pieces, guys. All right, well, you know what? Let me taste a piece. Okay, let me try a piece. I'm gonna take a nice little morsel right here. Now the other thing I considered was if you wanted to use something a little more chicken-like, you can take pieces of Beyond chicken or the Light Life chicken, maybe just coat them, maybe they're already breaded and you could just make the sauce, cut them up and put in here, and you'll probably have an easier, well, you will have an easier faux chicken experience. But let's see how this tastes. Oh my god, this is delicious. This sauce is so good. And because there's a lot of it, I think I will. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna make the rest of the tofu. And yeah, I think this would be fantastic if you use like the Beyond or Light Life, which is pretty much already pre-breaded, crispy. Just make your sauce, put it on here. Oh, I'm gonna be making that version in the future as well. But yeah, I'm gonna make a bit more of my tofu because I've got all this delicious sauce. It's not gonna go to waste. This is fantastic. All right, guys, that's all for now. I'll see you in the next video. Well, let me just try one more bite for you. So amazing. I think the orange zest. Oh my god, my daughter's gonna love this. The orange zest really enhances that flavor of the orange. Definitely gonna make this again and again. But I think maybe next time I will try it with Beyond or Light Life. That way I won't have to spend all this time making the tofu, and just to give that, to see how that is. I'll let you guys know. See you in the next video.